Hello friends, my name is Theo, and today in this exciting Meissner Media tutorial, we're going to be learning how to create a cool, surreal, infrared photography inspired look inside Davinci Resolve. If you're unfamiliar with Davinci Resolve, you should go check out my tutorial covering the very basics of Davinci Resolve, which will kind of teach you how to get footage in and out of the program really easily. So what is this sort of look that we're going after? Infrared photography, not everyone is particularly familiar with it. It's super cool. We're going to be doing kind of a faux infrared look like this right here. It says it's infrared, but I'm not super buying it, but you know, it could be. Some of the characteristics of infrared are these super bright leaves, lots of, organic matter reflects a bunch of infrared light. So we're going for this sort of look. It's also kind of like a two-strip feel, which I'm, really into right now. So here's basically the kind of look that we're going for that we'll try and get out of this footage. As you can see, we're pretty far off from it right now. But, that's why we're tutorializing. So I'll just keep that open up on another screen for me to reference. So now jumping into Davinci Resolve, the first step, I'll just make a new node. Just warning you, I'm going to go pretty node heavy on this tutorial just because that's kind of the way I was thinking when I was designing this look. It's kind of irresponsible to go node heavy, but I've got a bunch of graphics cards in my computer, and so I'm going to let myself be irresponsible. Shame on me. All right, so the first thing we're going to open up is going to open up this first little tab for curves and go to hue versus hue. This is going to be where the beef of the work happens. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this grass to be a different color. So I'm going to click right here and define a bound, and I'm going to click over here, make a pretty big one. Then you'll see the hue starts changing a little bit. And to see this better, let's go back to our first node and let's bump this saturation up. Let's kind of come up with a primary grade. So let's really saturate the bejesus out of this, and we'll give it a little bit of contrast. We don't want too much. Ooh, that's pretty bright. So now you can see we started to change the color of this. Hit Control D and that'll disable the node. So see, we're getting some results. They don't look good, but you can see that we're on our way. So let's keep fiddling with this. What this hue versus hue control does is it does exactly what it says it does. You pick a certain hue that you want, and then you can shift the hue of just that range of colors. So you'll see we've got kind of yellows to the very edge of cyan. You can move those all around, and that kind of, changes it around. So it looks like it's really in that yellow region that we're getting a lot of the good stuff. Good old, trees in the summer. So let's scoot this over even more. And I just kind of keep playing with these until we get basically what we want. So that's pretty nice and purpley. We've got some issues right here. Let's just use the scroll wheel to zoom in. Middle mouse button to pan around. Hit Control D to disable this. See, those are really kind of red leaves. So I guess we can just, I don't really want to get the building in there too much. Let's see, that's looking pretty good. So now we've changed our trees and our grass to be pretty purpley, and you can see we've left all the other stuff pretty much alone. Like, this is pretty cool. So we've got this cool surreal look happening. Let's change the sky. Let's kind of darken it down a little bit. So let's create another new node. We could do this inside the same node, probably, but like I said, sometimes it's just easier to compartmentalize your thinking. And then you can turn parts of it off and parts of it on. So we're going to stay inside this hue versus hue control. We're going to select the cyan control. And yeah, we want to make the sky kind of green looking. I'm pretty sure that's what we were going for. So yeah. So we're a little purple. We can make that pink if we want to. Pinken this up a bit. Yeah, I like that better anyway. I'm glad we checked our reference. So see, now we're getting, we started making a lot of progress really fast. We've got something that can start to pass for this faux infrared look. So we've got this one. We could probably even include more blues. Makes a nice contrast. For this one, let's also do hue versus luminance, and we can select that same sort of range, and we can darken it up. And then let's also add another node, and we'll make a little sort of vignette type thing. The way I like to do vignettes is I really like to use, this is like, coming from After Effects. You can tell that After Effects guys. I like to use these splines to make a little bit of an irregular vignette, just because it looks a little bit less like you made a vignette. Then you can increase the softness. What we also want to do is right now, this node is just affecting this inside of the image, as you can see over there. We just want to invert that real quick. So we're just getting the outside. So we can move this around a bit. Let's kind of move these around. These outside pink ones are the soft feathery areas. These blue, this hard white line is the sort of transition area. So you can move those around the way you want. And now we've got this outside node. You can see we're just kind of affecting these very edges. And let's just bring the gamma way down a good little bit. And maybe even the blacks right there. Gain. Oh, that's a little bit too vignette-y. Just click over here. You can see that. I don't really like this bottom corner. Click back over here and we can edit this again. All right, so now we started to get our look. I'm not in love with the way those clouds look. I think I might turn off that. Over here. This thing. Yeah, that just did not turn out good. Let's instead make a new serial node. Then we can define the color range over here in this tool. Make sure that this tool down here is selected. And then you just click there and you'll see we've got a nice little mask. We can increase the radius here. And then that will sort of give us this border thing. That'll give us this sort of border area around here, you see. Just kind of cheating, and we'll see if we like the way it looks. We might not. Let's just bring the gain down. That did kind of the same things with the whites I didn't really like. That's what I get. I mean, it was a bright day. Let's bring these whites back up. And bring the gamma down. That's looking a little better. Yeah. So put those whites back where they're supposed to be. And then, oh yeah. Now coming on some. You see we've got this little fringiness here. So we can change our radius. All right, now let's see how this looks. So yeah, just a little bit darker, but still looking good. So you can see as we play through there, we've got something coming pretty close to this. The only thing we're missing is the contrast and the saturation this has, because, you know, everyone loves that contrast and saturation. So let's just, boop, open up another new node. Not there. I want it after this node. And for this one, we'll just do a normal grade. We'll slam this saturation. Not that hard, but still pretty hard. Hit Alt-F and we'll get a bigger screen. Let's turn this contrast up. Not that much. Jeez Louise. But a good amount. We'll turn some gammas down. And then let's just do some normal sort of color stuff. Kind of like it being a little bit on the cooler side. Change those guys. So now we're just kind of fiddling with it. We've got basically the look that we're going after is this surreal sort of infrared look. And you can see, like, if someone didn't know any better and they didn't notice that, you know, leaves are supposed to be bright and infrared, they might even believe you. And if they don't, then just say that you're being surreal and it's sort of like Alice in Wonderland type stuff, because it does kind of look like that. So I think I've rambled on for long enough there. We've got something pretty cool coming out of the back end of this. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please give it a like and share it with anyone else who would appreciate it. If you want to see more of things like this, then be sure to subscribe to Meissner Media, because we're going to be putting out lots and lots of tutorials for lots of different types of software. If you didn't like the video, give it a dislike and tell me why in the comments. Constructive criticism is always good. If you have better ways of making surreal pseudo-infrared photography, video stuff, be sure to let me know about that, because infrared stuff is super cool and I'm starting to get into that. Yeah, I think that's all. Eat your vegetables and have a great day.